Well, greetings. I'm Liz.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together!
Sorry, I completely blitzed out there going, oh yeah, there is no sound in these chapter transition scenes. It's just there.
My friend was waiting, and it was not there.
Hey, there it is.
Anyway, so this is episode 5 of Yaoi Beast Boys, where we're continuing to examine what they're doing, who people are, how these behaviors would look in a real-life setting, what the canon of this game actually is.
What ideas is it talking about? Perpetuating? What particular circumstances would you actually see this potentially in your own life, and ways maybe to either protect yourself, defend yourself, maybe recognize them in yourself, and maybe learn how to deal with some of them? Because the thing is I think honestly a lot of us, the reason why some of these things work so well is it does again where I'm like, these things are fine to enjoy in a fictional sense, but it's also realizing we do some of these behaviors with each other, about each other, like, and I'm talking about each other in the sense of like the broad overarching scheme, whether or not we mean to. It's that systemic thing where people go, no, it's just one individual who's just the biggest jerkwad you will ever run into. He's the real racist. And it's like, no, it's literally a series of behaviors and things that slowly interlace together to become this web that actually starts to just glean and gloss its way through your life of going, these are behaviors that you can learn to identify, like in fiction, and going, I recognize that. Do I do that? You know?
So, this is philosophy with lies and scandal.
Yes!
More like moral and ethics. Now, the whole game doesn't have specifically toxic ideals, but there are some things in here that look very abusive, invasive, aggressive, and so we're trying to, like, tamp those out while also trying to have a fun time. Going, is there something fun and enjoyable about this? And so we're just gonna forward on ahead. Welcome aboard.
No, that's you.
That's
You're
me.
Ian.
I'm Ian. I'm like,
Ian's
hang
on the phone.
I got it. Did you just?
The treatment will be done after 2 more sessions. Apparently, that'll be enough to wipe the virus out completely.
I see. Somehow it doesn't feel quite real to me.
When somebody has a chronic issue and you manage to get rid of something, it's amazing how much you realize people are so good at adapting, because the second it's gone or that's going to happen, sometimes you recognize going, I was attached to this is my identity.
Yes.
And maybe in that way, actually, like, of recognizing going, that probably wasn't all that good. I defined myself around this thing. I defined myself only by this thing in some cases.
But again, there are some conditions that are defined as chronic, and they will eventually come up with a cure or a treatment that behaves curatively in your life, removes all of your symptom experience.
Right.
And it does change your life, and it can be really emotionally jarring, but it can also be very jarring for the people around you going, you've changed completely. And you're like, no, I haven't changed completely. It's just that all those behaviors that you're familiar with were dictated by this limitation or illness that I had.
Or like even an environmental situation. Not every single chronic issue is actually basically a physical one. Some of it's literally a mental space or a headspace thing, or just your environment influencing those things. There's actually been many people, they've done studies where it's like as soon as they got out of a toxic environment, as it were, for them, they, like, all their other issues went away. Because they really were so stressed out about this one freaking thing, and they couldn't get away from it, That's why it's actually really important, I feel. So, I don't mean to be an advocate here, but it's actually really important that people have options in relationships. So I think that, like, when people are like, oh no, divorce is so high, and it's like, but that's because people are allowed to walk away. It doesn't end your life. You also don't have to get married. It's not a requirement.
But that is one of those things where people will put themselves in toxic situations or painful situations that they just stay there because of the merit of staying there, of not ending something. But there's so much more you could be doing with yourself in your life, and not more in like you're not doing much with yourself, but in a self-edifying, enjoying yourself kind of way.
Right.
If you weren't in pain so much all the time.
Right. Same here, but Alex told me himself, so I believe it for some damn reason.
So we suddenly trust him. I mean, the treatment he gave us has worked, and it does take the ears and tail away, etc. So medically, we might trust him more than other ways. However, again, we have identified that Jackson is a naive walnut.
It's true. It's okay. Our character's a dingus.
All right. Well, I'll just need to take care of... You'll just need to take care of me. I'll just need you to take care of me 2 more times then. I feel like that might be accurate because he'd be a little like thrown off by this based on the fact that he's trying to find a new interaction with his friend.
Yeah, see you around.
You guys still need to hang out outside of like face treatment.
I know. Also, it's like swabby treatment. I'm still gonna go on that train forever of going, this is ridiculous.
Spit in a cup. something.
Yeah,
Anyway.
right, it's ridiculous. I hang up. He seemed strangely calm about it. Maybe I'm the only one overthinking this?
Okay, so he wasn't nervous. My bad. I just can't
I think
read.
he was.
It's fine. Yeah.
I guess I'll head home. Because I think Ian's the kind of person, obviously, where he sounds like basically that more soft archetype of basically a repressed gay man who's going, I've mostly kept this quietly to myself, and then going, but I might be able to get this out. And then going, I've been used to hiding for so long in my life, or basically not connecting anyone. And I don't know actually if he's been hiding. Maybe he's just reserved about it. But it's just like, that's an experience of going, I will never really enjoy this because as far as I know, my friend is the straight guy, TM.
And I
don't even know if
still
he's bi or pan, but he's certainly not gay.
He certainly seems very asexual in this game.
I think Jackson is the most ace. It's ridiculous.
Like, that's how he... Or
like,
at least,
this is also the way that I tolerate this, is because I can't get through so much of this crap. It's
now,
so bad.
without defining anyone's ace identity, I could say that he might be, like, essentially pre-awakening ace, where if you've never had a sexual awakening, you are ace until your identity shifts. Identities are very fluid depending on your experience in your life.
And also depending on people. Actually, I love the story sometimes, and I know people glamorize them so much, but they are instances where really you do have somebody who goes, I identified as basically straight my whole life. I've always been attracted to this particular body type, this particular mannerism, the whole 9 yards. Like, I am physically more attracted to this, and I am, brain-wise more attracted to this idea. And then I ran into this one person of a same or a gender I wasn't experienced with, and I just went, you.
It doesn't matter what you are. I like you. And that experience, in case anyone tries to ever like if there's ever an experience where someone tries to push that on you, going like, no, but I could be the one, that is not how that works. That is inappropriate.
Yeah,
that is not how that works. But it can happen within you. So those identities can be malleable. So even if we go, Jackson seems ace, and then he doesn't, and then he goes another direction, and his sexuality shifts, that can be accurate to real life as well.
Right. A few days later,
where you must click more. All right. So after today's treatment, there'll only be one left.
Ian looks like he has mixed feelings on the matter.
But his ears don't look like he has mixed feelings on the matter. I want his ears to be emotive.
I know.
This whole game. What do you want?
I mean, they have very mild...
That's not emotive, though.
I know.
That's just animation. All the time, I'm like, okay, so the game is problematic in one way or another. It has things that I don't indulge in.
It has questionable and problematic.
Okay. It doesn't have questionable fiction. It's fine. Fiction can have whatever the heck it wants. However, it has things that discomfort me in reference to trying to think of a real person going through them. But I wish their ears were emotive.
Right, that'd be very... Well, I guess, okay, so the reason for me, trying to alter that a little bit is I feel like where some people have also pointed out going, I feel like you're throwing problematic around too much. At least, in the broader sphere of things that we've run through. Sometimes people are like, you're using problematic as it's the end word, all word. You could literally say, that thing triggers me. Use the word squick. That makes me uncomfortable. Trigger is a very specific experience.
Problematic is, like I said, is a bigger scope.
Right.
If you're relating your fiction to reality, if it were reality, honestly, it could be a problem. However,
so much fiction that is so inappropriate.
But it's not inappropriate as fiction.
Right?
Exactly.
Because...
So that's the important distinction.
Oh,
here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's
the distinction.
All right, Jackson.
What?
Is that great, or are we trying to dig into this? Because I would be happy for my friend, but you are Jackson in this one.
Honestly, what we've got in this case is going, if you're noting going, Ian looks like he has mixed feelings on the matter, Jackson is sensitive to his friend.
Yes.
You're going, so I would still go with, I don't understand why you're making that face.
I feel like with the game...
But I feel like that's so incorrect.
I feel like I'm having trouble separating my experience from the game experience of going, Jackson might say, I don't understand why you're making that face. But I feel like if we choose that, it's the, I am shipping, that is the shipping option. And so going... As a player, I'm not trying to end up with Jackson in a contrived or not with Ian in a contrived
Jackson
way.
Be our character being shoved into a
my
contrived
character
situation.
Anyway, and I'm just so I don't know. Anyway, but you say
I mean that's the thing of I've been aggravated about it too. I get aggravated sometimes where especially you have one choice or the other.
Right.
And you're just kind of really?
It seems like a lot of these games are extremely binary in their options, and that they create a really binary outcome as well. Given that neither of us have played very many dating games,
right?
This has been
I haven't played a lot of games.
You haven't played games? No.
My whole list of PlayStation games
life
is so
a lie.
sad.
It's a lie.
It's fine.
All right,
and all your computer games are crying from the grave.
So do we want to try and understand our friend better and find out what the developers had in mind?
I feel like it would, even for the character, going, okay, so he's a dingus.
We can say that grates and see what happens. Because also he's been unaware.
So the reason I'm resistant, also picking is for the reason you've pointed out. I don't want to get shoved into a shipping thing because I'm annoyed about it.
Yep.
Going into, now the relationship will happen. And I'm just like, but I also feel like, unfortunately, due to the way that they still want to... But we've gone against that all the time, so screw it. We just be
that's
like,
great.
that's great.
Support your dang friend, and then he can
Be
talk
like,
more. Whoa.
Hello?
Hang on. Ah!
Wah!
There we go.
That's great. You won't have to suffer any more transformations.
His eyes fall. Ooh. Like, see, you need emotive ears so bad. That's true. I won't have to live in fear of when I might transform next.
Exactly. And I'll be able to look at the full moon as much as I want.
That's cute.
Honestly, though, that stupid part is like, there's a full moon. I will never go outside past a certain point in the day. Done.
I mean, the thing is people always go, the full moon is at night. Okay, the moon just goes around the earth. It
really
shows
does.
up in the day. Like when you have one of those, like you couldn't have a solar eclipse that mattered if it only showed up at night. Like, nope, for real.
Only
full moons are in the daytime too.
Only at night.
Yep, the moon doesn't exist except at night. So if you've never seen the moon in the daytime, I'm really sorry. You're missing out. It's there constantly.
It really is.
Like it just goes around the world at a different speed than the day-night cycle. We're good. All right, but that's not the only reason you're happy, right? There's something more important than that?
More important? I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
I mean, you won't be forced to kiss me anymore.
Oh, now, again, I'm curious as
You're
to the
being
language
dramatic.
shift.
Why?
No. I think the thing is also like, I really am curious is where it went from treatment to now we're just out now going kissing. Like, it's been a language shift that's bothering me.
I know, it went from treatment to kissing once they went, you're getting near the end of the game. You're getting down to tacks of brass. But also, like, Jackson has told Ian many times that I'm not forced. I'm giving you treatment. We're not kissing. It is treatment, even though that's the behavior that functions the treatment. And he's reassured Ian over and over again. So Ian's being dramatic and insecure at this point. Not that he can't be that, but it feels like an odd, needy shift for his character.
But
Like,
I mean,
really
he's been
does.
slowly doing that bit by bit, and I'm kind of getting uncomfortable with it. Like, and again, I get, like, let's theoretically take this out of its fictional setting and put it into a real life situation. You do start getting confused and conflated feelings. That could happen.
Well,
Not
I could see that.
You would, but just that could happen. Some people are really good at separating, especially like that thing that I mentioned about toxic masculinity previous, where they were like, we literally have two male-bodied, male-identified, where they go, I identify, I'm cisgender, we are boning, and I literally think nothing of you, other than basically, I am performing a sex act while we are performing sex.
Right?
It means nothing.
If you haven't heard that reference, you'll want to go back to one of our previous videos in Yaoi Beast Boys, and we talk about basically male objectification in reference to a need to maintain your sexual identity regardless of your behavior.
Right.
Anyway.
I wasn't forced.
You don't have to comfort me now. I know how you feel.
I'm not just comforting you. I think I was able to keep on with the treatments for so long because it was you, Ian.
But that doesn't mean you're in love with me.
You don't need to be in love with someone to care for people. Why
Or
is
to
this
like
such...
them. Or even to be attracted to or interested in them. Like that. It is not the, hey, I've met you, or we're in love. Like those aren't the only two things. You are a stranger, an acquaintance, or we're in love.
Right?
What? We were friends before that.
This is, though, a thing that's been highly criticized of basically, specifically United States American culture. Like, I don't know where in the world it's also been, but because I've also heard other people, like, in other countries going, wow, freaking Americans, and I'm talking about people from the US, are obsessed with romance.
With romance and romantic love. The romanticization of romance itself.
It's terrible. I don't dislike it, though. I want to be with you. You are my friend!
I want to be around you, dude.
Dude, we were friends to begin with, damn it! It's just that if you were to ask me whether it's a romantic thing, I couldn't say.
And he is on the fence, and it's okay to let people be on the fence, and be on the fence for an ass-long time if they need to.
They are not required to reciprocate.
They also aren't required to define their feelings immediately. Now, if you end up in a situation where it's muggy, and you're going, the behaviors we are doing now are something I can only do romantically, and they can go, oh, well, let me either A, back that off, or B, re-examine my feelings. Like, if they continued kissing for no reason other than, hey, we could still hang out and kiss because, you know, we used to do it, when once the treatment is done,
that's even
if
worse.
Ian went, okay, for me, that has to be romantic, I can't do it, and Jackson went, oh, let me rethink my feelings then and figure out whether or not this should stay in there. But, like, in general, if you have good boundaries, you do not need to make anyone decide what their position is.
Right?
Like, it's not necessary. Now, if you're going, you need to decide because otherwise I need to go move on and do something else, then that is your personal experience, and they don't need to decide. They may not be ready. And a lot of those forced decisions means they're not doing something truly actually one from their heart or from a place of their higher faculties of knowing who they are.
Right.
Let's see, I couldn't say whether it's romantic. Jackson.
Ian slowly wraps his arms around me.
Very gently I embrace you, and the whole world trembles and shakes and rattles. An earthquake happens. Then there's still a chance for me if I keep trying. If that's true, then please let me into your heart. Meaning, can we? Why are you asking for it right now? Why?
We've already though basically had this conversation, so I'm kind of exasperated because I feel like, so for me as a player, I feel like Jackson basically is having his boundaries violated. He's explained where he is, and Ian keeps going, let me push, let me keep pulling, let me keep insisting.
Like he's
going like, oh, so it's possible. So the thing is that to me is, so socially speaking, a lot of women basically really heavily get dragged into that pit of people going, no, okay, well, that's fine. So let me just, play with your hair. Let me just
tell you, you can decide now. Well, next week you can decide now. Well, next time I see you, decide now. And the thing is Ian's being way softer about it. He's being framed as gentle and friendly and much more open than Alex is. However, that doesn't make it a good behavior because every time he's going, wait, there's still a chance for me, so I need to have that chance right now.
Yes.
He's not going, hey, there's still a chance for me, and then moving forward with your interactions and letting Jackson continue to have his process.
And the thing is going like, yeah, I'm going to be open. Hey, I like you. So, but you also don't need to keep, I don't know, everybody might be like specifically, they have different boundaries. They might really just have their own kind of limitations. And I'm like, for me, that kind of behavior really comes off as incredibly grating past a while. And it's incredibly uncomfortable.
Because
like also,
again, Jackson has already established this boundary several times going, I don't know yet. And Ian's gone, but if you don't know yet, that means there's still a chance, which is an acceptable thing, and he could stop there. But then he goes, so now decide for me, let me in.
Or going like,
that next step of going, now we have to do this thing, now I need you to do this thing.
Or going like, I'm expecting that eventually, then that means that eventually you really could do this thing. It's like, Ian, don't rest your laurels on this one thing. God damn it, go do something else for a while. We've also
laurels,
basically, that's actually, it's a term, is resting your laurels on something. But it's like, I'm frustrated. It's okay.
Anyway, I don't want this to end after 2 more times.
It's just 1 more time.
Yeah, it was 1 more time.
What?
Except for maybe we haven't kissed him this time because he still has his ears on.
Maybe.
Also, can we see his tail? Like, just barely.
Yeah, you really can. It's like just
Jackson's
barely.
is so like, whoo, I am there. And I'm just like, Ian, we should see cattail. It'd be nice.
Flu. Ian.
Or the little flicking in tail.
I honestly, for me,
anxious.
This would be hard because I'd feel like in some ways this might basically ruin their friendship. For me, with my experiences in my life, I feel like that basically starts to ruin your friendship where you're going, you literally cannot let me have my space or my time or anything. And I cannot really trust you.
Yeah, you can't give me space or my process. You also can't just let it sit and let me see because you're just going, I need to know now. Why do you need to know now? Because you're uncomfortable right now? Because you feel like it'll go away? Like, you need to discuss it more if you're just anxious and panicking about it, basically. And going, I want your love.
We've already known that. This is just mostly more and more material to go, no, but it's romantic. And for me, I'm going, writer, I'm not getting this.
Again,
I'm getting that I'm really uncomfortable. Like, again, so these are not characters. These are not things. These are basically tools by which a writer is using to try to manipulate your feelings to have a certain reaction. I'm not okay with this framework that they've set up. This doesn't feel okay to me.
And again, like, you can have an experience in a dating game where you can be more comfortable, where you can build more organically, or we can just have characters where you're like, this feels comfortable and like everybody's into it. One of the conventions that of the few dating games that we've played on our channel that they don't seem to use is basically a short hop or a long hop. So in fiction in writing, there's a skipping of a short piece of time. Like, a short hop can be you were upstairs and now you're down in the kitchen. You didn't tell that I walked out of my room, went down the stairs, through the living room into the kitchen. You just took that hop, literary wise. And a long hop can be the next Monday. You skip over the whole weekend, you skip to the next week. They keep doing long hops in here as far as going 2 weeks later, 2 days later, but they're not adding anything into it. Because you can say the next Monday, after we spent a beautiful week together.
Right.
The next Monday, or the next morning after we talked all night long on the dock. Like, you can tell what the character's doing in between scenes to build that connection that you don't have to see in the story itself.
I love the thing is actually some people have argued very strongly for, you know, it has been a huge literary thing for a while. It's been a literary thing, what, since like the 60s,
Okay.
50s, something like that, of the thing of don't show, tell. And it's like, the problem what you have is that in some cases, yes.
Don't tell, show. It's the show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell. Excuse
That
me.
one.
Blah, blah, blah,
Anyway,
blah.
yes.
Sorry, it's all right. So the thing is that sometimes it's actually really good to do so. It really depends on what you're trying to establish.
It depends on your medium and what your focus is. Again, in this case, if you're trying to very quickly push two characters together very organically, it's really easy to not have it all on screen because you're really getting to know very little about them without the game going on for days and days,
right,
with every piece of every conversation on screen. But if we're going, you haven't spoken to Ian in 2 weeks, and now you show up and push the issue, that feels very strange. It's not that they couldn't be this close, it's that the only interaction we're having, the game is reinforcing that that's actually all we're doing. That there's
right,
no other talking to each other, there's no other engaging with each other, anything.
Yeah,
and
like,
the game could very easily, and other games could very easily be like, here's the end of your scene, and then you drag it out, telling and informing whether it's a positive or a negative option. You leave immediately and you don't speak to each other again. Or you sit there and
right,
you talk for this night. You continue the conversation heartfeltly and you walk away with positive feelings.
right.
Like, you can sum it up that you've built a greater connection without walking through every step of it. Anyway.
Right. Ian gently presses his lips to mine.
Jackson? Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Okay, that is...
I told you, I'm like, he keeps...
From one step to the next, that is crazy. Can you make love to me? Like, that is...
How can I make you love me?
Oh,
make
God.
You.
I can't
was like,
read
whoa, I
this.
didn't know it.
Hold on.
I was already uncomfortable with it already, so that's fine. So I'll just cover up for you.
I was like, so my dyslexia, like, made that so much worse. It was literally, could you bone me right here? And I was
yes!
like, I'm so lost. Okay, that means... How can I make you love me? Well...
Ian, I'm really uncomfortable.
Ian, I need time. Time.
Also, this sounds like a guilt trip, especially seeing him like this. Like, he's on the verge of tears makes my heart hurt.
Yeah,
like,
and we know that Jackson's
you don't
very...
want to... sensitive to his friends.
And
yeah.
sensitive to emotional manipulation, because even with Alex, whenever Alex gets sad, he goes, hang on, are you okay? Because even when he turns him down flat and aggressively, do not force my physical boundaries, he also goes, okay, you look really sad, are you okay?
Are you alright?
Like, he checks
like,
that
oh my God!
He even checks that his rebuff hasn't damaged this person, even if it's like, I have physically removed you from my body and told you don't touch me. And then if you start crying, I go, are you okay?
This reads to me, actually, so if you were to... So here, let's play a game. It's one of my favorite games. It's like, I call it the cis swap.
Okay.
What would happen if you had Jackson as a woman?
All right. If Jackson was a woman and there were both of these men pushing the issue, even if his, like I said, softer, more gently framed friend Ian was standing here going, how can I make you love me? You need to tell me now. I need to, every time going, so there's still hope for me and I want you to love me now. How would that
I'm like,
feel?
imagine this whole game, this whole experience. Jackson the entire time has been a cisgendered woman. Doesn't matter. Can still wear the same hairstyle. Can still wear suits or whatever else. Honestly, that would be very
rock
cute.
it in suits.
No kidding. I'm like,
so
damn
hard.
you. But it's also just like, imagine this whole game like this. This would be so wildly different. Even if you want to pull the thing of going, imagine these were all, you know, basic, like you cis swap the entire group.
Well, you know, if they're all, I would say if they were all, you know, women, but at the same time, it's like, if you have men forcing their way into women's space this way, it would be much differently framed. And again, as a game, this is fine, but if we're supposed to be playing a character, it's like, it's the difference between if I'm out here as a reader and I'm just going, I just want to see what this is. Then it's fine. Or I want to have an experience with seeing what they wrote in this thing, like read it like a book. Right? But if I'm playing a game and being a character and trying to make choices for that character, if you can separate that gamer versus playing as a character, that's where it breaks down.
I'm so uncomfortable with this.
If only you could just lose yourself in me like this.
But that's weird. I wrap my arms around Ian and hold him tightly. I don't want to hurt you, but I don't know what my feel... God, I'm just like Jackson, you have been socialized
to caretake for everyone.
Oh my God, it's so dangerous to do this. If I could do that, maybe things would be easier. That's a sign this isn't going well!
Because you'd have to make yourself do it. You're going, if I could do that.
Right?
Then, just this once, will you let yourself go with me? I don't
Oh
care
my
if
God.
it's fake.
No.
Okay, at this point, now it sounds like Ian's basically coping with the stress of his ordeal. That kind of thing of going, basically what I want to do is wreck myself on an intense experience because I've been traumatized by being sick, by having my life changed dramatically, by being moved into an ostracized group of those who have this virus.
Except for me
the
also.
Virus, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
it's the antivirus. It's fine. I'm just like, what's bothering me about this going is like, I don't care if it's fake. A lot of people usually be like, I don't care if it's fake, and then they will literally lash out at you if you still go, yeah, I wasn't really feeling it. And you're like, then why did you do it? And you're like...
Or they'll attack you going, but you hurt me, but I felt it, but I felt you feel it. And then they can use it against you again.
And I feel so much like they never had a friendship at all before this. I gotta say, this completely makes me go, you guys didn't care about each other at all as friends.
See, and I'm going the other way of just going, it sounds like Ian, if they were friends, and Ian doesn't mean to hurt his friend, he's just experiencing basically deep trauma and trying to bury himself in something, since it seems like Jackson is his only friend. Which, again, the isolationism of this game makes it like it appear to be framed in such a way that Ian has no one to talk to or interact with or look to for support in any way. No family, no friends, no like confidants of any kind other than Jackson. And that is why if he was that isolated in his experience of getting this nonetheless also socially ostracizing and very challenging and life-altering disease that then also deeply affects his own behaviors and his autonomy of choice, basically, by being in a chemically altered state when he transforms, then yeah, he could just being like, I am so traumatized and I can't go anywhere for comfort that he just wants something.
And thank you for pointing that out. Technically speaking, Ian is still considered to be within a chemically altered state. Absolutely, positively.
He's still got his ears.
This is not okay on multiple levels. Going, no, just lose yourself in me. You are basically inebriated,
or you're
you cannot give correct. You cannot
you're under an aphrodisiac, right? Essentially,
which you can't give consent at that point, unless basically, again, this were a scene. Let's just put it that way into the BDSM group, right? Of going, you've established a scene and this is what's going on. But that would be giving this thing way too much damn credit. We already know that that's not true. Unless basically the isolationism of this whole thing is also not just that it's a dystopia, it's this post-apocalyptic bullcrap thing, but it's actually that they're role-playing a scene with these three friends who sort of dig each other and are like, oh my god, we got drunk over this weekend for the fun.
I'm funny, oh my god.
And so they're like, I'm done with work, hang on. And they to basically role-play in character, but they stick around each other.
And the three of them going, okay, so what we're going to do is the two of us are going to be fighting over you, Jackson. It's going to be so much fun.
And it's
we're going to be really angsty about it too. And you're just going to keep turning us both down or like dragging us along, playing with our feelings. Oh my god, this sounds hot as hell.
This sounds great.
And then the three of them, after each of these various scenes, just be like, god.
And performing proper caretaking and whatever else, making sure, hey, is anybody's feelings hurt? Do you need anything? Let's watch something. Let's wind down from it.
Any of that push your boundaries? We can all snuggle up on the couch together and be like, oh god.
Oh, you have your little cute poly group. That would be adorable.
That would be very cute.
I would be so much happier.
Since we as players have not been pulled into that, that's not what's going on.
I know.
All right. Even if it's fake. So that is very harmful to Ian, especially again. Ian is in an altered state.
Turn him down!
Because he is not making rational choices. He is emotionally compromised. He's chemically compromised. He's been through an ordeal that he's still in, and he has no other emotional support at all. All this is going to do is hurt him.
No, the answer is no.
No, you got to load this, dude. You got to let us turn him down.
It's having an experience.
It's like, no, you cannot turn him down. You have to accept his invitation.
Hello?
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 Hey!
Hello? I don't want to hurt you by lying to you. Forgive me? You shouldn't be asking for
you shouldn't necessarily be asking for forgiveness, but at the same time, he's trying to be supportive, going, forgive me for not being able to support you. I think it's more like, not forgive me for turning you down.
Okay, I was just like...
I can see that.
All right, that's fair.
And that's a really thoughtful thing to say, being like, I'm not trying to hurt you by deceiving you. Jackson, I understand. I'm sad. But I'll give it up.
I step back from Ian and watch as he changes back.
Hey, he's successful. Now if you want to have this conversation, poof.
Transformation's worn off.
Yeah, seems like it. So I'll only be able to kiss you one more time after this.
And then I will die.
I'll give it up, except for I'm still digging it in.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the guilt trip. This is great. Right?
Maybe your feelings will shift toward me by then. Who knows? Maybe if it'll happen in a month from now after we hang out and do other stuff together and I get to examine the experience that I'm having. And also, as I mentioned in a previous episode, start thinking of you in either a sexual or romantic light, which I've never done before. And sometimes simply reframing something and then letting yourself experience that reframing can really change your analysis of a thing and go, yeah, but it does take time.
Right?
There's still a chance. I haven't given up completely.
Why
give it up. I haven't given up completely. I'll give it up. I still haven't given up completely.
But my question, though, is there's still a chance I haven't given up completely? Going, why is kissing the only chance you have?
Yeah.
That's my question. What's going on? I'm using this framework of me being forced into an altered aphrodisiacal-like state, rabid, aphrodisiac, basically, induced state.
Yes, incredibly sexually compromised as far as my autonomy is concerned.
And that's the only chance I have. I'm like, are you repressed? Are you planning on basically being, gonna kill yourself? But that's also still manipulative and still not okay.
That gets dark. That's a little dark.
Well, I'm like, what else are you gonna do? I'm like, you guys are still friends. Why can't you, outside of this, establish a relationship? This is so contrived.
Or again,
it's bugging the shit out of me.
Keep building your friendship and let Jackson actually have his process of growing into it. If he
wants to, or he feels like it's him.
Right, again, growing into whatever his perception of this situation is, whatever his ability to understand it is.
Well, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say here, but...
That's fine.
Gambate?
Yes! I say, because at this point, he really has said everything he needs to say. Jackson has done his part. Do my best, huh? All right, I will. I'll head home for now.
Take care.
Do you want to hang out again normally without all of this?
Oh my god, can we go on a normal date?
A friend date?
With a normal person!
Like a normal person. I will. See you later.
With something just a bit lonely in his smile, Ian leaves my apartment. Please stop hammering this in, writer. This is not okay.
It's fine.
I'm only going to take this road to Alex's place 2 more times, too.
All right.
Hooray! Nice. We get to get away from him forever!
Yeah, because he has never been our friend. We have never made any connection with him. We don't know who he is other than being pushy and abusive and demanding. Like, not ever talking to him ever again could be great.
I don't want to do these treatments anymore, so that's good.
Right?
Right? Oh.
So
what? No. I canon not accepted. I will do an about turn and go that way out the door. Goodbye.
I know that's canon, but based on the fact that it's stupid, I choose to accept it.
I understand the council has made a decision, but it's a stupid decision, so therefore I'm choosing not to accept it.
I choose to reject it. Okay, so he could be feeling, however, if you wanted to stick with the canon and stick with who we know he is as a character so far, he could be feeling desolate about it because it's a big piece of his current identity that will be going away.
Right.
Going, I have had to deal with this. I have had to connect with this. I have had to make this okay in my head so that I could suffer through it. So I do feel a disconnect or a form of grieving with it going away because there's a form of loss but I worked really hard to cope with this. I developed coping mechanisms that will now no longer be relevant and I'll have to put down.
And that's totally fine. I get some of that. There's also the fact that you've got to realize too, not only did you do that, but also, for me, part of the reason why the thing with Alex makes me so uncomfortable is because he had to cater to him so strongly so that he wouldn't get left out in the cold. Yep. Can you imagine what would happen to Jackson if basically he had flat out rejected him and Alex took him seriously?
Yeah.
And Alex wasn't completely obsessive or whatever else, he'd be dead. Or he'd be a rabbit and crazy.
Or he'd be locked in, a facility for treatment of these, for containment of this disease.
Right? I'm like, can you imagine? So it's basically he was being super, I'm like, the level of no is strong. Alex?
You swallowed it, right?
Yeah, but I can't tell him that my body... Yeah, you're
right.
Well,
it is. You're in a chemically altered state. You could be horny as hell.
It doesn't matter. My body is still aching.
I'm also having this ordeal with my best friend, and again, we don't seem to know any other people at all except for the 3 of each other. So this is rough.
This is really hard. As I struggle to find the words, Alex quickly backs away from me.
Huh? You finally... Huh? The ears and tail make sense. Huh? What's up with you? Did you want more? But if you swallowed my saliva, there's no need.
That's true, but where's this going? Normally, Alex is the one being aggressive.
I think they're assuming that we must want Alex based on the fact that we told our friend that we didn't want to lie to him. I don't know. But I don't know. We're gonna have to play this through.
I'm gonna cry because it's gonna force us into one or the other. So honestly, I'm actually kind of curious to see what's gonna happen. Where we've freaking dodged everything for the most part, or like tried as hard as possible. I'm just like,
what we were interested in was actually building a relationship, not just diving into something. Like also based on the character you've established for us, he didn't seem interested.
no kidding.
And it was always let yourself go. It's not, hey, try this out. It's always overcome your inhibitions and reservations. Jackson is framed as not wanting it. And we're going, well, we can decide to do it even though we don't want it.
We're gonna try to pretend that we're Detroit Become Human and that this is just a part of the programming that you have to defeat, except for that's not the way a program works at all. But that's okay.
Well, not that I particularly care, but you've only got one treatment left after this. Make sure you're here next time.
I know that. But why are you being so cold with me? You don't need to caretake, Jackson. We already know that Alex is a little whiny bitch, and he really is desperately codependent, and is probably really lonely and really horny most of the time, but you do not need to feel bad for that, because he's an asshole.
It's also possible that the reason he's been so direct and pushy with you and going, oh, well, it's just sex, well, I could do it with anyone, well, we could just do it with anyone, well, anyone could do this, let go of your inhibitions, is because he really isn't connected to absolutely anyone, and he's trying to seem more experienced and more exposed than he is to make it casual because he doesn't know how to be direct.
No kidding.
But he is deeply lonely and disconnected. Who knows? There's so much extrapolation here. And my essay will include...
And in this essay, I will...
I'm not trying to be cold. Why do you say that?
Because you're never satisfied with just one time. But today, you're already done.
What's with you all of a sudden? You look unhappy. Are you going to tell me you've fallen for me after all this time?
No.
No. You haven't, right? Then stop saying things that might give me the wrong idea.
Alex looks like he's about to cry. I guess what I said must have seemed pretty bloated.
Little ears wiggle.
Sorry, the transformation just has me saying weird stuff.
Which honestly, as a doctor, even though emotionally you can be affected by people's behaviors and words, you know he's in an altered state.
And again, intellectually you can have that knowledge, but emotionally it really can be really sucky.
I know. I get it, okay? I know that for you, kissing me is just a means of treatment, and there's no meaning beyond that.
Alex? That may be true, but now I don't dislike kissing you as much as I...
Oh, no, on the other hand, coping mechanisms.
I know,
You've had to work through it.
I know. I'm getting exasperated, that's all.
Fine.
I'm frustrated.
Be it. Do it.
No.
So telling him honestly how we feel should be the same one as the other one.
Yes.
Just going, yes, so that should be fine.
So screw that. Alex... Please listen to me. At first, I wasn't exactly sure how I felt romantically about men.
I'm still not sure.
But now, I think my feelings are starting to become clearer. And I think that's because I've been kissing you.
Okay, hang on. This lied. This is
what?
about face from what happened with the other one. When we did this with Alex, we were able, or with Ian, we were able to tell him our true feelings was that we're not actually into this.
Yeah, no.
Don't say crap like that when you don't even like me.
I mean, it's true. It's still the truth. In all honesty, I'm not really clear on what my feelings are for you, because you've been abusing me this whole time.
It's true.
I'm kind of having this weird, I'm attached to you.
But I have had to examine this experience being shoved literally in my face.
Down my throat.
Yeah, so I've grown a bit. Maybe. Just so you know, that kind of ambiguous nonsense is what pisses me off the most.
Alex?
Enough. Just leave. I want to sort my own feelings out.
Now suddenly, I'm the one in the right here. Damn you for not reciprocating anything.
Right.
Okay, see you on the next full moon then.
I'm actually going to acknowledge all of your feelings. Let's take a second to go. Alex is now acknowledging that Jackson has said no every single time. He's acknowledging that he recognized the turn down, that he recognized that Jackson wasn't interested, and that he had pushed and proceeded forward anyway. He's now going, but you're the one who's never interested and doesn't want this and doesn't like it. You've said so bunches of times, and trying to throw it in his damn face.
I know. I was going to be like, that's still manipulative. Congratulations, we're back with Alex.
Like, whoa.
This is Alex for you.
Right.
As I leave the apartment, Alex doesn't look at me once, but I keep staring at him the whole time and run right into the doorframe. And the whole screen vibrates.
I just gently walk around the edge, pretending it's fine.
What the hell have I done? I I never even expected I'd be kissing Alex, who I didn't even know, or Ian, my best friend, whom I don't even know how long I've known him for, but I guess he's my best friend. But after one more time, I won't be able to kiss either of them.
You will if you want to.
Oh my god, this is not the only... Sorry.
They have both been completely open about the fact that you could if you wanted to. Like, they're really, like, in your
Relationships.
face about it.
I'm also like, relationships, again, do not begin and end with only physicality.
And
This is
again,
the thing where I'm going, like,
if neither of them were manipulative, if we were just having a cool, like friend time and getting to know these people, and we weren't told repeatedly that Jackson wasn't into this, we wouldn't play this game in this direction. They are framing it as Jackson's not sure and Jackson's not interested, and not, hey, maybe I'll try it. It's I could force myself to do it. I could give in to my, I could disregard my own resistance. It's not like...
Now, I think in part, though, that's not entirely accurate. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
But, like, there has been some of me just playing it because I don't think this is interesting nor necessarily really appealing. Plus, also, so whenever we've played Atome games, for me, personally, I actually have to admit, it's kind of weird to be like, and now I will go and share this with the internet. So I don't know if you guys, like, have experienced this in the audience, but sometimes you're like, there are private things you kind of want to keep to yourself. Where you're going, you really don't just want to sit there and have a live, ongoing chat experience where people hear your voice and your reactions or whatever else and going, ah, yes, find out my deepest, darkest, whatever they like. And I'm not trying to say that those things are bad, but I'm like, there are some things where it's like, it's okay and it's healthy to have your own personal private space. And this
So what's fascinating about playing this game is these kinds of games, as far as I understand, are meant to be played in private. They're not meant to be played in a group with friends and where you're all talking about it. They're not meant to be performed vocally as a shared group. They're meant to have an experience inside your own head, or an experience with someone who's done it previously just inside the story, like as far as like a drama CD.
We you know what? There's also that problem too. So we've actually been to a con before. We were actually talking to several different authors. We were trying to talk with them about basically going like, hey, would you like us to read your books?
So
we had the most hilarious response. And go ahead, Liza, because you're going to break out of your seat, right?
I will. So the thing is we approached a bunch of independent authors on like, hey, if we read some of your stuff on our audiobook channel, would you be interested in that? Would you endorse that? Either we could perform, a sample of the book and promote you, or, even do the whole thing if it's not that long and we enjoy it. And they were immediately right away on top of it. Like, yes, we'll do that. Absolutely.
We need advertising is what it mostly came down to.
Which book would you recommend? And then there was this pause. Every one of them thinking about the content of their book being performed out loud for an audience.
It got better. It got better. You recall, because we actually we went around basically the artist alley again, and a couple of the ones we went by again actually went, hey, could you not do that one? Could you do this one instead? Because I was thinking about it, and that one's kind of graphic. And I'm like, guys!
Some of them really were like, it has sexual content, or, it's sort of explicit with its, some romance and material. And we're going, are you comfortable with what you've written outside of your own head? If someone stood in front on open mic night, in front of an audience of 10 to 50 people just out for coffee, and you read their book out loud, would that be acceptable? Now, open mic night, as long as people know that it's like 18 plus content kind of thing, you can have anything up there. You can curse, you can swear, you can do your slam poetry and whatever.
Right.
And so people are consenting to be exposed to things. But like, this is a book you published either for young readers or not specifically as an adult book, but just as a fantasy or fiction book.
Right.
And suddenly you're going, wait, if I think about it being performed out loud, I start to crumble with discomfort.
Yeah, and again, like I've said, this is not to shame those particular authors, but there is kind of an interesting conundrum where you realize going, you have been so basically isolated in your head and you're so used to basically not connecting with the faces of the people who may or may not read your book.
That ultimately when it comes down to, is this meant to be shared amongst an audience, which is what publishing a book or material does?
Right?
You get I was picturing people reading this on their own in their own heads by themselves.
I wasn't picturing this. Honestly, in some ways that also might go, I wasn't necessarily, weirdly enough, actually expecting it to get very big or get a lot of attention or anything.
Even though that's what I say I wanted. I want to be an author.
Yeah.
But if I picture all the nations reading it like 50 Shades of Grey and carrying it on the bus, am I comfortable that I've written that?
Right.
And some authors really don't think that far ahead.
However, there's also that question too, like with 50 Shades of Grey, of going like some people might have basically that backlash response of going, but I don't want to be the thing that everybody makes fun of, like with 50 Shades of Grey. There's that thing of going, but you can't be you can't be vulnerable, you know, if you don't.
You can't be protected and vulnerable at the same time. You can't have the cake and eat it too. You can't put yourself out there and not receive any kind of criticism.
You can though too be like, if you have a good friend group and you have a good stable environment around you, be like, you know what, it's okay. I have a point I want to make with this kind of thing. But that's where the discussion of basically where the thing of going art and entertainment starts going out, you know, a little awry, you know, right? It's very fascinating. Wait, won't be able to? Makes it sound like I really want to. I don't. Or do I? Jackson,
and this
I need to have an emotional fit in the streets.
This is a reasonable conflict for him going, these things and these thoughts, these ideas have been forced into my world. How do I feel about them? What do I really want for myself?
Right? I just don't feel that way about them. Right?
As far as you can tell.
I mean, they're going to give us two options. We're going to go with me, we're going to go with Alex.
Oh, God. We'll find out. A few weeks later, have you talked to either of them during this time? Have you hung out? Have you visited? Have you done anything outside of this at all?
Is there any friend
space? As far as we
space?
can tell, even with you and your best friend Ian, you're not interacting with him at all, except for treatment now. Like, you guys have stopped being friends outside of the treatment. Ding dong!
Bing bong. He's here. As of today, Ian's treatment will be over. And I still don't have an answer for...
You don't have to have an answer for him. It's fine, but you don't have to have an answer for him. Ka-chunk. I kind of just want to be like...
Yes! I open the door and there's Ian, his face clouded.
He is also conflicted.
You can see his tail.
I know, there's the tail.
He has a weird, sticky, howdy tail. I'm a very happy cat who's a sad cat, and everybody else goes, pet, pet, pet.
All right, but it's just like your cat patting down the hall to see you with her tail up in the air, interested. His face looks clouded. Your tail isn't clouded, dude.
Dude, your tail lies.
Your cat is happy. Your cat self is happy. Your cat self is like, it is okay.
Yay! Hey, so, well, come on in.
I'll be awkward too, it's fine. Sure. In you go. We always walk into my bedroom, except for this is a Japanese apartment, so my living room is my bedroom, but it's fine. Just ignore the bed in the back.
It's my friend bed backroom hideaway place.
My back bedroom? My bed back room?
Ian doesn't say a word. Why won't he say something if I don't come up with something to talk about? The tension's going to kill me.
How are you? Today's last... How are you? Talk to him like a friend. He's your damn friend. Is he your friend?
How are you doing?
Not bad. Physically, I mean, I'm not jumping on you. I'm not dying in the street. I managed to walk over here transformed to your house every time in a desperate state of horniness without attacking anyone. It's kind of amazing, really.
People running away from him. Honestly, that would suck. Like, I know I joke about it, but that would really suck.
Honestly, I feel like Jackson's been inconsiderate with going, you must come to me with your unpredictable transformations when you're transformed, rather than staying safe in your place when you could be just molesting people everywhere. You could be sexually assaulting people.
All of them are stupid? Because he walks out too.
Well, he's behaving stupid, but he's not being compelled to do that. Alex has offered to come to him.
I know,
also,
but I don't.
His changes are predictable. Unlike Ian's, Alex's changes are predictable. All he has to do, if he really wanted to be sure, was be like, the day of the transformation, I'm going to go stay at Alex's house, or I'm going to have him come to mine. Like, Also, the intensity of the, like, hormonal experience is wildly, like, all over the place.
Is there something else wrong apart from that? I should have stuck my foot right in my mouth before I started.
It's okay.
Jackson, I'm going to punch you in the eye myself. Ian closes his eyes sadly. You fucking dumbass.
I don't know. Could we just get started with the treatment? He also is feeling conflicted. It'd be interesting to see this from his point of view, with them not interacting for weeks at a time when they used to hang out as friends.
No kidding. I'm like, why aren't you guys are, we are bros. We are no bros.
What I mean when I say he's my best friend is that my non-best friends are people I never talk to at all.
Right? Sure. It was weirdly easy, considering this is the last one.
Jackson, I don't want you to go gentle on me today.
Hork down my throat!
Just
slobber!
It's just like, this experience of going, he's still trying to get that same experience of last time, of let me have a sexual experience with you, even if you're not into it. That is what that feels like again.
I'm gonna cry. Why?
Because if my only memories with you are good, I won't be able to move on. Please, be rough with me, so I don't end up clinging to my memories. Okay, that's actually a different. I didn't catch that tone at all.
Oh, I
He's
didn't
like,
either.
just be formal and straightforward and don't make this soft or gentle at all. I want to be like, yes, it's an uncomfortable treatment that is forced upon my face. I guess?
I guess, but I'm also like...
I guess?
Like,
I
be
wanna have
rough with me.
I need to have a bad memory with you, otherwise I won't be able to put it down.
It's just like, please rape me.
Like
that's the thing of going, like, I've heard though some things be like, just be mean to me, force this down me so I don't have, you're like, dude, that's basically assault. Like, that's what you're asking for. You're asking for me to assault you.
I have not consented to abuse my friend.
Ian?
If you won't fall in love with me, then I want to forget my love for you.
Okay.
No, this doesn't make any sense. Going one time being rough with you as I give you a face treatment is going to make you forget that you love me?
Bull
How would
crap.
that even work?
Without a moment's thought, I hug Ian tightly.
Yeah,
You're
your
my
friend. Thank you. Your friend is deeply distressed. Like they are behaving outside of the norm for them, and this is screwing with them. You guys honestly need to get away from this disease for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and really feel like who and what you are together outside of that.
No kidding. Don't forget. I don't want you to forget.
We've been friends for a great long time that I don't know how long is as a player.
It's non-specified period of time.
You're a cruel man. You're asking for something stupid in an altered state. You know what? Sometimes you have to do something that seems cruel to your friends when they are making dumb choices. Like if they're super drunk and telling you to do something to them that is not what they would normally do or behave, just you have to turn them down and let them be sad in that moment.
And go,
and be like, I respect your choices later when you're not inebriated.
Like this is not okay. Yes, I know. I'm an awful man. Really?
It's fine.
Ian.
Jackson,
You got it. As tears run down Ian's face, I give him kiss after gentle kiss to comfort him, except that that's also feeding into his problems.
Here it is. It was the line. I thought it was this one, but here it is
Look,
now.
Here it is. He's in an altered state.
All right.
The answer is no.
Your chemically altered friend who is not making rational decisions, who's been through an aggressive ordeal with no support, where their entire life has been changed, is now begging you to make love to them while they are at the end of this ordeal, which can be more stressful than even the middle or beginning of it, because it also means new change again.
And that was terrifying to adapt to anyway. All right, let's move to the back.
Wait, what?
What?
We didn't choose anything.
What?
Why is that?
What? No!
What?
No! I am cannon out the window!
That doesn't even make any sense.
What?
Why would that happen?
Excuse me, I'm gonna yeet the tablet in the other...
Like, that doesn't even make any sense.
What?
Why would Jackson do that? Why would he acquiesce this time? Why aren't we as a player given any choices here?
I can at least grant him this request since it's the end, and I don't want to end it here either. I'm sorry, I'm dead inside.
Yeah, I don't want to end it here because why?
On day for the first time, Ian and I join our bodies together, and we clip through each other.
And we just smush
become...
together as icons. We become one person. Since there were only three
All right,
person
make a
in the
Dark
world,
Souls boss out of
Dark Souls boss out of
immediately.
Ian and Jackson. Here we go.
Ooh, a few days later.
We as players were given no options
choice.
there. Like that entire thing was just this or that. And he started to behave like I will support my friend. How did this happen?
What? I walked through the neighborhood. Oh, is this going to happen twice and then we get to choose between them?
We're going to have to end up forcibly boning both of them with no choice on the player's part and then go, but who do I want? Okay,
I don't want any.
I'm going to wrap this up here because holy crap.
I am disturbed, to be perfectly honest.
When it came down to the end of things in the what is your choice for this game, we did not get to choose. Like they've let us choose about kissing, they've let us choose about talking, they've let us choose about activities.
And only then vaguely.
But these are things that they've given us choices for. And then premium options for, do you want more smoochy feely times even if it's non-consensual? And then now they're just like, you just have sex. What? By the way, it's like radio announcer voice. And then they had sex. And you're like, and then you go to the next day. And then a few days later, and I've got Jackson going, what happened? How did that happen?
Was that me?
I think I had a weird dream where... And we haven't talked to each other for days afterwards. And he didn't stay over and spend the night and ask questions. And nothing happened. I just went, I turned you down last time, but this time I'll be stupid. All right, so...
anyway, so this
thanks
has
for
been
joining
Scandal.
us. And I have been Liz. And it was great playing a game with you.
God, kill me.
Bye.